continuing Route 25. Now this guy is one of the more famous trainers in the game, but it has nothing to do with anything he does or anything like that. No, it's because that trainer is instrumental in getting the Mew glitch to work. I think we all know what the Mew glitch is by now, and if not, I'm not gonna do it, as evidenced by the fact that I'm actually fighting this guy. And if you don't know what the glitch is and you wanna know, well, just type in Mew glitch in the search bar on YouTube, and there are a few videos which will pop up to explain the whole thing to you. Anyway, the reason why it's this trainer and not much else that needs to be fought is because the Slowpoke has a special of 21. Yeah, the last opponent you fight before triggering the last part of the glitch needs to have a special of 21, or 277, which is obtained by adding 256 to it. And depending on the special of the last Pokemon you fight, you can encounter a variety of Pokemon, such as this last, for example, would give you a Lapras. And there's a variant on that trick, which implies taking a Pokemon with a special of 21, a Pokemon of your own, and taking it to a wild Ditto. And the Ditto will transform into your Pokemon, and then it will register the special as being 21, and after that, you can trigger the glitch, and it's gonna work. You're gonna fight a Mew. And while I'm on the subject of glitches from the first generation, I might as well tell you, you probably know it if you've watched videos of Pokemon glitches. There are 60 glitch moves that are named TM01 through TM55 and HM01 through HM05. Now, I don't know if it's because they originally planned to have 55 TMs in the game, but those moves have nothing to do with the moves obtained by those TMs. Most of them are either complete garbage or they crash the game, but there is one of them that doesn't crash the game. I think it's TM09. Anyway, that move has 21 PP, and what it does is raise evasion by 3 levels. That means 3 double teams in 1 turn. Now that's abusive, and that is, by default, the best move in any Pokemon game ever. Even Amnesia from Red, Blue, and Yellow can't compare to that, if you ask me. Okay, now on to something else. In the last part, I mentioned Onix being involved in something really stupid in Fire Red and Leaf Green, and you probably guessed it by now. I was talking about the fact that Pokemon like Onix and Golbat, they can't evolve in that game unless you have the National Pokédex, and I understand that they were going for as genuine an experience as possible compared to Red, Blue, and Yellow. In fact, just Red and Blue, since Yellow was another game entirely. But then that whole argument collapses when you look at some of the facts about this game. The TMs are different, the moves learned by level up are different. Heck, Charmander has Metal Claw to deal with Brock now, so you don't need to catch something else for the sole purpose of beating Brock. Some of the trainers have different lineups. I was talking earlier on about that Raticate from Mount Moon being downgraded to a Rattata and losing 3 levels and Hyper Fang. And the trainers on Nugget Bridge also have different Pokemon, I know this for a fact. And the Dark and Steel types were added, and related to that, Magnemite and Magneton were Steel Electric instead of just plain Electric. So, yeah, you could say they were trying to be loyal to Red and Blue, but in other parts of the game, they weren't loyal to them at all. And furthermore, why would not having the correct version of the Pokédex prevent your Pokémon from evolving? There doesn't seem to be any logical relationship between the two. Heck, even the 4th generation games allow you to have Pokemon that aren't in the Sinnoh Dex. They're just not recorded in it until you get the National Dex. But still, that's in direct contradiction to what they tried to do with Fire Red and Leaf Green. And since that thing was stupid, oh, now I had to talk to this guy that way if I wanted to get behind him and get the treasure that's behind it without needing cut. And if you ask me, his intro wasn't so hot either. I'm a cool guy, I've got a girlfriend? Well, what sense does that make? It's not like your coolness is directly related to the fact that you have a girlfriend. I don't consider myself ultra cool or anything, but I'm single and I'm perfectly fine with that. So, are you using your girlfriend as some sort of trophy instead of actually caring for her? Oh, yes! Abra finally gonna evolve. Finally! I was getting so tired of switching it constantly. So anyway, I was gonna ask, what kind of bimbo does that guy have for a girlfriend? But then it's glaringly obvious that his girlfriend is the girl with the rant that I faced earlier on in this part. So, and her introduction was pretty similar. Hi, my boyfriend is cool. Let's imagine this for a second, okay? You meet a complete stranger for the first time, and the first thing you tell him is, hi, my boyfriend is cool. Yeah, I don't know what she'd be going for, considering... Oh! Finally, level 30, Razor Leaf, Abra evolving all at the same time. I'm feeling like there's $1 million raining in my backyard, no less. I'm gonna get rid of Vine Whip, of course. 10 PP. I still can't believe it. At least Razor Leaf is 25, so I won't have to deal with that small enamel clip on my main move ever again. Now I'm going to have Abra evolve into Kadabra, and when this part is over, I'm going to head back to Cerulean to evolve it into Alakazam, because the emulator I used allows for trading between 2 copies of the emulator, and thus for trade evolutions. Kadabra and learn Confusion. That's probably my favorite part about the thing evolving to begin with. Speaking of heading back to Cerulean, one thing... Oh! Can't forget the treasure there now, can I? Anyways, I was gonna say, I had already sold the nugget the rocket gave me earlier on, and I also deposited some TMs and other useless items into the PC. So, as I was gonna say before my Ivysaur leveled up to 30, why would she need to inform me that her boyfriend is cool before I know her name or what she does for a living or anything like that? Is she afraid that if I don't know she has a boyfriend, she's gonna be afraid the first thing I think about her is that she plays in the Lavender League? And because I'm not gonna judge you if you do, but if you think the first thing I'm gonna think about you is, wow, that girl's a lesbian, then you probably ought to consider a change of wardrobe. And since clothing was really not that girl's problem, I think we can chalk that one up to the game designers really running out of ideas for introductions. It's true also that introductions in this generation had a little less quality to them than in the other generations. There's no denying that. And just to avoid having to do another public apology because of my words being misunderstood, please realize that I'm not saying all homosexual people have funny outfits. It's just that there exist outfits that would give that fact away. Nothing more, nothing less. Now moving on to something else. While I was talking about that, there was a trainer who suggested that whenever I have a confused or sleeping Pokemon, I should switch it out. Now, of course, that's always a great idea when you're confused, but when you're asleep, it's only good if Sleep Clause is enforced. Otherwise, if it's not enforced, like is the case in-game, well, you risk having your entire team being wiped out by sleep, and it's better to just wait it out and let it wake up then. Isn't it fun to have some type coverage aside from just what grass gives me? Okay, now that she's defeated, I'm going to turn back and evolve it into Alakazam, and when I come back, I am going to enter Bill's house, and I am going to make him pay for that piece of shit he calls a storage system.